First time I saw you, you blew my mind.
The stereotypical smartphone ad. Catchy music, the flashy animations. Yes, Samsung's latest sizzle reel for the upcoming Galaxy S21 has it all. But is it just as exciting when you get it into your own hands as the ads make it seem? Well, I have it in mind, and it may surprise you, but not in the way you think. There's a few things you need to know before you jump on that hype train. When I typically review smartphones, I go for the high-end model, the flagship, the one with all the bells and whistles. But this time, I'm going to go with the base model, the one that more people are going to be able to afford. So let's start with the design. The S21 has a very similar design compared to last year's S20. Dimensions are pretty much the same, even the buttons are identical, with one exception, the camera bump on the back. Now the bump is still there, but the camera module now wraps around the edge of the phone, giving it a unique look. We'll get back to the cameras in a moment. The matte finish on the back makes it less of a fingerprint magnet. It still has those nice rounded edges, which makes the phone feel really nice in your hands, but the screen itself isn't curved, it's flat this time. The screen, 6.2 inches, it's an AMOLED display, which is really quite beautiful, and you still have that punch hole camera at the top. And the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor is hidden beneath the screen near the bottom, which is extremely responsive. I think it's even more so than the one on the Galaxy S20. Now, design doesn't always change a lot from year to year, but one place where we typically see a big bump in performance is with the cameras, and that's where this gets interesting. On the front, you have the 10 megapixel punch hole camera. On the back, the 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera, a 12 megapixel wide-angle camera, and a 64 megapixel telephoto lens. Now, does this sound familiar? Well, that's because it's the exact same camera configuration as we saw on last year's model. There's no denying the Galaxy S21 takes beautiful pictures, both indoors and outdoors, especially in low light. There's a wealth of camera features, some of them like the 30x zoom or the director's view, which lets you see a preview of all the cameras all at once you may never use, but they're there if you want them regardless. You won't be disappointed by the photos or the videos you take. Some will be disappointed that the battery is still the same size as last year, but we need to point out the new processor reduces power consumption to help prolong battery life. With regular to heavy use, it will last you an entire day. I never had an issue with battery life, and when I got low, it only took a few minutes to get enough juice to top it up. Now, Samsung did decrease the price of the base model. It's about $120 cheaper than last year, but to do that, it had to cut some corners. On the back of the phone, this is no longer glass, it's now plastic or polycarbonate as Samsung calls it. That being said, it doesn't feel cheap, and some of you might actually prefer this because it makes your phone a little bit more durable just in case you dropped it. Now, on the front, the resolution of the screen slightly lower than last year, but truth be told, most of you won't even notice that. Storage. When it comes to storage, it's not upgradable anymore. There's no SD card slot, so make sure you buy the model that you think is adequate because you can't upgrade later. And there is no more charging brick in the box. This is a trend we're starting to see more of. Bottom line, the Galaxy S21, it might not have a lot of new features, but it doesn't mean it's not a solid device. If you have an older model that's maybe a couple years old, upgrading makes sense, but if you have last year's model, all you're getting really is a faster, slightly faster processor. Other than that, it's almost identical to last year. And if you're just jumping into the Galaxy line of devices, well, the Galaxy S21, it's a solid pick.